Welcome everyone to the game from Satty Zhuldyz 2023. This was a tournament in Kazakhstan played almost 3 years ago. We have on our screen Bibisara Assaubayeva. This game was recorded back then and published on our channel as well. It was without commentary. And now that this game is especially relevant after Bibisara's opponent in this game won the FIDE Candidates, and there you see Javokhir Sindarov entering in. They both were good friends back then. Now recently in 2026 they also announced their relationship. So it's very cool that they actually played maybe one of the few games that they played in a tournament setting against each other. You can see them being quite friendly with each other before the game, smiling. And Bibisara was an IM back then, 2440, while Javokhir Sindarov, a grandmaster. A handshake, it's a 3 minutes plus 2 seconds blitz. C4, G6, Sindarov playing the King's Indian defense, D6. And Bibisara, of course, known for her blitz chess. So this will be an interesting game. Bishop E2, castles, pawn to H4, going straight on for the attack with H5. And let's see how Sindarov deals with it. Plays pawn to H5, stopping the pawn from advancing. Knight to F3 played, and now C5, striking in the center. D5, E6 played. Many ways to play. You can put your bishop on G5. Even castling is not off the table. But Bibisara goes knight to G5. The knight stands on this G5 square, eyeing the E6 and F7 pawns. Pawn takes pawn. She takes back with the E pawn. Taking with the C pawn creates an imbalance which maybe is slightly to white's favor. Now black gets the F5 square. Castles. A knight comes to D7 and bishop F4. Javokhir is not at all averse to giving up this and letting white have a protected passer, because in doing so you also have to give up your bishop pair, and this is quite an important bishop here. But Bibisara takes it, takes and plays bishop d3, and look at the speed at which Sindarov is playing here. He's not even thinking for a bit. E4, and with this move he's eyeing the pawn on h4 and also this pawn on b2. You can see Bibisara thinking there, trying to slow down, calm herself down. And Javokhir also thinking a bit. He's actually using his opponent's time to think a lot. And sometimes, I'm pretty sure that they've played a lot of blitz in practice games. So you know your opponent quite well. Bishop takes bishop, knight takes, and boom, he takes on h4. The interesting thing to note is that the position is still quite even. Queen f3, a lovely move. You can't take on b2 because if bishop b2, rook b1, and you lose the b7 pawn. So in a way, black is doing quite fine, but so is white. Now the c5 pawn is hanging, so b6 is possible. Goes bishop d4, defending this, putting pressure here. And Bibisara can now go rook a d1, rook fe1, g3, king g2, all very natural moves. This knight on e4 is a very, very monstrous piece. Javokhir thinking what to play here. I mean, what will his opponent play here? And Bibisara down to 1 minute 25 seconds. She needs to speed up rook fe1. A good move. Very good move, actually. And Javokhir kicking the knight away with f5 creates a lot of weaknesses, I must say. So rook a e8 makes a lot of sense. And then there's no check here because the bishop and the queen control that square. Maybe rook a d1 is a sensible move here. Just bringing the rook in. But Bibisara is taking a lot of time. That's her problem. Her position is great. She needs to speed up. She needs to quickly make her decisions. She's hesitating a bit. She plays pawn to g3, attacking the queen. And now queen to d8 back. And rook a d1 is perhaps again a good move. I would actually play king g2, but she plays rook e2 to defend the b2 pawn and to double down the e file. What could be more natural than that? But I think black can even play rook e5, rook e8. And there's this one very insane move. I don't know if Sindarov will find it, but it's a very much Javokhir-like move. b5. Takes. Okay, you can't take queen d5 because of knight f6. Oh, he finds it. He finds it. And his point is, if you take here, he'll go king g7. And this pawn is weakened. Because, of course, if you take directly knight f6 check and you lose the queen. Rook a e1 played by Bibisara. She's also eyeing for some knight f6 threats. Although I don't think it's working right now. Like, let's say b takes c4, knight f6, just queen f6, good move. Is a very strong way to continue. And f5 played. Oh, that just weakens everything a lot. And Bibisara now has chances. Knight c3 back, attacking the b5 pawn. Also, rook can jump into e6. Sindarov suddenly in trouble. Must take here. Rook e2. Rook e2 I can take back with the knight attacking the bishop. Takes. Knight takes e2. Finds it. Incredible play by Bibisara. If you take on b2, knight f4 is winning. And putting so much pressure now. With 17 seconds. Bibisara has 17. Javokhir has 1 minute. And now the only logical move is rook e8. Finds it. And rook d1 played. She could also have taken the pawn. Rook e4. And now take the pawn is sensible. Knight f4. Maybe a step in the wrong direction. Even taking here would have given white a decent position. Something like this. Or queen d3. White is doing fine. But knight f4. Eyeing here, here and here. B takes c4. And the point is, if you take on g6, he wants to come queen g5. King g2, Bibisara kind of losing the thread of this game. And Javokhir is now going to be better if he finds the move queen d6 defending g6 and activating the queen. He finds it. Good play here by Sindarov. b2 pawn now also weak. Ooh, she goes rook c1. Blundering bishop b2 and c3. And Javokhir takes it. Rook c2. Comes back with the bishop. Now attacking here the f4 knight. The knight drops back. Queen d5. She's lost a lot of pawns here. Bishop c3. Rook c3. And now black is 3 pawns up. h4. And she designs a very interesting game here by Bibisara. I must say she played excellently. Javokhir in the end did win the game. But Bibisara showed her class as a blitz player. It's very nice to see both of them being excellent friends off the board back then and still fighting really hard on the board. That's actually not very common and it's wonderful to see it.